Hey everybody, Colton here with a little Saturday special discussion video for you guys, talking about, of course, Avengers Doomsday and the teasers that we are getting. A lot of you have probably now actually seen on the big screen the Steve Rogers Avengers Doomsday teaser. So if you have, like if you saw it with when you went and saw Avatar: Fire and Ash, let me know what did you think of the teaser, full HD up on that big screen. I'd love to hear what you guys thought of it. Now, there are reports that there is another one coming next week, which is heavily rumored to be the Thor one. And there is a consistent theme between not only these two teasers, but as well with kind of the multiverse saga overall and the post-credit scene that we got in Fantastic Four First Steps. And we're maybe starting to think that theme will continue with the third and fourth, perhaps, teaser that are said to come in the third and fourth weeks of Avatar: Fire and Ash. So the rumor is that we're going to get the Steve one, then the Thor one, and then there's a third and fourth. Now, I've had fun and said that perhaps the third and fourth will stick on the theme of, seeing our OG heroes with kids and that perhaps being Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, seeing him with Laura and then Tobey back in his universe with his kid, and then having the Doomsday Clock and showing us like these OG heroes and the possibility, or really just setting up how they'll do anything to save their children. We've also got a video coming up that I actually teased about a week ago now. I'll play the clip, but it's from a Screen Crush live stream that we did, where I had the idea of maybe Doom is going to be coming after our different heroes' kids. I'll play that clip real quick.
Do you guys have a theory on like where Thor could go in this?
Doom seems to have an interest in, let me be careful how I word this, an interest in collecting children, kind of similar to what Gore was doing. Like we see
Thanks,
he's
Colton,
coming
for that point.
yeah,
Now
he's
we're
coming after Franklin, and
Yeah.
love is connected to eternity.
Eternity.
So he
I
could
love
be
that.
coming, and maybe coming for Steve's son that shouldn't even exist. And
Yeah.
it could be like rounding up the kids.
So yeah, that's something that we've got in the works, but I wanted to talk about what the potential third and fourth teasers could be. I also want to hear from you guys down in the comments below what you think they could be, because I'm really curious. I mean, what are we getting? I love the possibility of it being like a Tobey Spider-Man and a Hugh Jackman Wolverine, but if I had to put money on it, I'm thinking that it's probably going to be the third one is going to be RDJ Doctor Doom and us learning about his past and maybe his lost child. And then the fourth spot will be a full-on Avengers Doomsday teaser trailer. I think that it would just make sense, as like the big three of the MCU are Chris Evans, Steve Rogers, Chris Hemsworth, Thor, and RDJ as Tony Stark. But of course, we know he's playing Doctor Doom in this one. We know from the Russos that Tony's snap in Endgame is going to have a big connection to whatever's going on with Doctor Doom in this movie. So if we're seeing a scenario where Thor is praying to be with Love again, his daughter, where Steve is holding his newborn, we could see a teaser that sets up what Doctor Doom's motives are, his loss of perhaps his child. We know that Tony Stark sacrificed getting to watch his daughter grow up in order to save the entire universe. So perhaps it's connected to that, him wanting to get back to Morgan. We'll just have to see, but that's the kind of stuff I want to hear your thoughts on. Now, I have a list. Of characters in the MCU who have children. So I want to go through and I want to hear from you guys who you think these other teasers could be. So if we do get like a third teaser, or maybe then a third and a fourth teaser that are character-centric teasers that show OG heroes with their kids, and perhaps they are characters that, were not part of the 27 chairs, because Steve Rogers was not part of the 27 chairs, that cast lineup. Chris Evans wasn't there, but Chris Hemsworth was. So here are some names. We, of course, have Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner. He is not part of the announced cast so far, but he is an OG Avenger, so that would fit in with Chris Evans being back, Chris Hemsworth being back, Steve Rogers Thor. Hawkeye is one of those OG Avengers, and we know that he has kids. We know that he is living his life with his kids. You know, he's retired. What we've seen in the multiverse saga thus far with his show, so we could see him having a role to play in this. I think it'd be great if they brought him back. I think Jeremy Renner, he's been very vocal about like some stuff going on with him feeling like he wasn't getting paid what he deserved to be paid, and like he felt like that was linked to his accident or something. I'm not really sure about all that, so I'm going to kind of leave that to the side for now. But I could totally see them getting him back in on this and having his kids involved. There's Scott Lang, Ant-Man. Cassie's older at this, like Cassie's pretty much an adult at this point, and that's what's happening with a lot of the young Avengers, is that they're really not that young anymore. So it's going to be like the mid 30s Avengers by the time we get like a young Avengers thing. I don't know that Cassie will be involved, but she totally could, especially if we're doing like a children's crusade thing that bring in the young Avengers and have them like, and that's kind of teasing what I have coming up, which is a discussion of how Wanda could be coming back. But perhaps she would be involved. I don't know that Ant-Man or even Hawkeye are part of that level of doing like Steve Rogers is Steve Rogers. Thor is Thor. I don't know that Ant-Man and Hawkeye quite meet that level of, oh, full character dedicated teaser to set up Doomsday. I don't know that they quite hit that. But here's who does, of course. Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch. In Children's Crusade, which is a Doctor Doom centric story, a Wanda Maximoff centric story, a Young Avengers centric story, Wanda has disappeared and they're like looking for her. Well, she has pretty much disappeared from the multiverse saga. We saw her collapse Mount Wundagore on herself, but then we saw that red flash of light, kind of implying she's still alive. I think that Deadpool and Wolverine implied she may have pruned herself from existence and that she is now in the void, because we saw that statue of the Scarlet Witch there in the void, so maybe Wanda is there as well. Another... She has kids, of course, and that's been a whole thing that they have done with her character, with WandaVision and Multiverse of Madness, is her connection to her kids and wanting to be with her kids. And we could see that continued now with Billy and Tommy in the Vision Quest series that is coming up and that I believe is being released between Doomsday and Secret Wars. So we could see a teaser that is maybe Vision centric, but also has like this tease of Scarlet Witch and focuses on like Billy and Tommy. That would be kind of cool. But again, I don't know if they quite meet the level of like Thor and Steve Rogers being up there with them. I think of everyone we've mentioned thus far, Hawkeye is the one that kind of meets that threshold the most, just because he's an OG. But at this point, I mean, Vision's been around since Age of Ultron, so we'll just have to see. Some other characters, they introduced T'Challa Jr. In the Multiverse Saga in Wakanda Forever. So that's a character, and we know that we have a new Black Panther, and we have King of Wakanda. M'Baku, they are both, Shuri and M'Baku are both in Doomsday, so perhaps we get a teaser with them, and we're seeing young T'Challa teased at, and perhaps having been taken by Doom. So we'll just have to look into that. Now that's I made up this list before we just right before I started recording. So those are some key names that came to mind. But there's also one more. There's Hulk, who we know they shoehorned in him having a son, Scar, at the end of the She-Hulk series. Hulk is an OG Avenger. Like if you were to say who are the big four, it's Tony Stark, Hulk, Steve Rogers, Thor. Those are the big four. And then you have Black Widow and Hawkeye. So we know Bruce Banner's in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And they can't make Hulk movies, so they usually do lean on the Avengers movies to tell his story. So if they're doing a Steve Rogers one and they're doing a Thor one, it might make sense to do a Bruce Banner one. Yeah. I kind of just convinced myself. I was thinking they wouldn't, because that just felt like such a, shoehorned in, like nobody even knows it happened kind of thing, like Hulk having a son, Scar, and all that. But, Love and Thunder wasn't that well received either, and they're having Thor talk about his daughter Love, so we could get a cool one with Bruce Banner, the Hulk, narrating and talking about his kid And that would give us our three like OGs who are talking about their children, having these teasers with their children, and then these three OGs having to go up against their old friend in RDJ, who is Doctor Doom. Be pretty cool. I think Wanda would be the most exciting one, though. Having Scarlet Witch back and her connection to her children has been such a theme of this saga. So we'll just have to see. But before I got started writing the video that I'm going to be doing for Screen Crush, talking about what I think Doom's master plan could be for, taking Franklin, taking Steve Rogers' son, who should not exist, taking Love, who has the power of eternity. I have a really cool theory that I want to get into over on Screen Crush with that. But I just kind of wanted to get some thoughts from you guys here on who you think could be getting more additional teaser spots. So we'll talk about this some more, of course, on the full show. Ask Colton should be coming out on Monday. And of course, look out for that theory video that we've got coming to Screen Crush. All right, I just wanted to check in. This has been so much fun doing these non-scripted, not having my bullet points in front of me or anything like that, just kind of kicking back and talking with you guys. I hope you guys like it. I hope it's not too informal, like that it's making the channel seem like, I don't know, I want there to be a certain level of production quality and, structure to it, but sometimes it's fun to just get on here and talk with you guys. So let me know your thoughts on all of that. All right, I will see you guys soon. Bye.